everybody for coming tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I might as well do a housekeeping message now. The fire marshal has said we're over limit, so we're going to have to either break this into 2 meetings or we're going to pick numbers and some of you will have to leave. And I'm just kidding. But one thing,
I have my list.
At the conclusion of the meeting, I've been told that we should leave all the chairs in place. So that will save us from having a mad scramble. Okay, let's get started. In early 2018.
Excuse me, you want to do proof of notice first? Proof of notice.
Oh, excuse me. I'm calling to order.
You did that.
It's been a rough week. It's been a rough month. Call to order the special shareholders meeting on Wednesday, March 27th, 2019 at 7 o'clock. Meeting been posted?
Yes, Mr. President, the meeting was posted in accordance with Florida statutes.
Okay, the agenda for tonight will be a discussion by myself, but all the board members are welcome to chime in at any time. I would ask that the residents hold their questions and comments till the end so that I can get through this with only one bottle of water. At that time, we will have a discussion. We'll open up the floor for a discussion with residents on ideas, suggestions, comments, pretty much open. So you will have that opportunity at the end of the meeting or at the end of the first presentation.
Do you want to introduce our guest here?
Yeah. In addition to the board members, Darrell Burns is not here tonight. He's in Las Vegas at a national bowling tournament, which he has gone to for years. In addition to the board members, I'd like to introduce Jim Meltreader, who is with Master Engineers Consultant, right. Our structural consultant who we have retained for the latest study. And we'll be going through his report, and you'll have the opportunity to ask him also any questions that you might have. Okay, may I proceed now? Thank you, Roxy. I'm not nervous. In early 2018, there was interest expressed by residents to have a meeting to discuss the clubhouse project. On February 27th, 2018, the Board of Directors held a meeting for that sole purpose. We presented some background and the results of 2 studies that we had commissioned from professionals. In addition, we reviewed options recommended by the Fairway Village Clubhouse Repair Committee. Today, we are here to revisit that presentation and to provide updated information we have obtained since that presentation. And as I explained, our format will be to present the information we have, and then we would ask that you hold questions during that, and then we'll open it up for discussion. I'd like to start today with a little background information on the clubhouse, and then on the Clubhouse Repair Committee's report from 2010. So you can see this has been going on for about 10 years now. And that report contained evaluations and cost estimates for renovation of the existing clubhouse and for a replacement facility. History of the clubhouse. The original clubhouse was built around 1970, 1971. The residents voted to buy Fairway Village in 1984 for $12,687,000. Each owner paid $5,900 to meet the bank down payment. The bank loan was completely paid off on July 19th, 1994. That's where we originated the origination of the village party. There have been 3 additions added to the original clubhouse. The first was a major addition to the community building built in 1973. The second was a remodel and addition to the clubhouse in 1981. This addition was to the south end of the main hall. It also included adding the conference room, the card room, and the billiards room. The third addition was the exercise room, added in 1996. There have been a number of studies done on the clubhouse. In 2009, a clubhouse repair committee was formed. It was made up of 1 director, Vern Thompson, and 9 shareholders. The shareholders were John Anderson, Ken Beek, Harold Brown, Jim Elliott, myself, Joe Jacoby, Jim Larkin, Charles Logan, and Carla Wilson, and a few of us are still around. And I should note that Cliff Thuneman chaired the original committee at the beginning but passed away during the summer of 2009, and Vern Thompson was appointed by the board to replace him. The original clubhouse renovation repair was developed from a wish list by the various users of the clubhouse. Comments and questions were expressed on all aspects from space allocation to usage. An architect, Philip Campbell, was approached to do a survey and recommendation to the existing building. He provided a basic architectural and electrical scope of work which encompassed the main clubhouse area only. No mechanical information was included. Upon review of the documentation with the committee, it was concluded that a majority of the work described was architectural and electrical, whereas the actual renovation predominantly involved mechanical and electrical work. The firm of Architectural Engineering, Inc. was contacted, and Mr. Ron McElveen, a registered mechanical and electrical engineer, was retained. After visiting the site and several discussions, a scope of work involving various renovations and upgrades was developed to satisfy code and usage requirements. The estimated contractual cost for this work was $400,000, not including professional fees and soft costs. The cost estimate included demolition, new fire-rated T-bar ceiling, insulation bats above ceiling, mechanical diffusers and grills, new electrical service entrance panel, new lighting in the main hall area, a fire alarm system upgrade, and an allowance for ADA upgrades. And I'd like to note, site visits included visits by Mr. Bob Hatton, plans examiner, City of Largo Building Division, who advised all new work associated with the ceiling replacement must meet present-day code. And some ADA upgrades will be required as part of the work. The extent of the actual ADA renovation will be identified once the design begins. At the same time, Assistant Fire Marshal Tom Wedden, City of Largo, advised that the existing should meet code requirements. Mr. Wedden met with association members at the clubhouse in September of 2009. He advised that a fire alarm system with central station monitoring and voice evacuation meeting code is required. A sprinkler system is not required. The City of Largo is not requiring it unless an improvement is made to the building, not just replacement of existing components. This was partly due to the fact that replacement of the clubhouse was a possibility. Panic hardware is required from assembly hall and a minimum of 2 doors required. Also, emergency and exit lighting are required for egress from the building. Subsequent correspondence dated 2009 with Grace, probably misspell her name, or Gacick, G-A-C-C-E-K, fire inspector with the City of Largo, explains, if the board decides not to pursue the contract for the work until November, They can do so by closing the clubhouse to any further activities until such time as they have the work done. Work required to comply with the city requirements was done that summer at the cost of about $75,000 to $100,000. Several meetings of the Clubhouse Repair Committee and one with the Board of Directors was subsequently held to discuss the engineer's report. At one of the committee's meetings, a question was raised as to the construction of a new clubhouse rather than the renovation of the existing clubhouse. Vern Thompson approached the Board of Directors and asked to expand the committee's mandate to include replacement of the clubhouse as well as renovation of the clubhouse. The Board of Directors approved the request. 2 architectural firms were recommended. Each firm met with the committee and submitted proposals with associated costs for their services. The firm of Wanamaker and Jensen Architects, Inc. was selected to do a complete analysis of the clubhouse, including general construction, mechanical systems, and electrical systems, in addition to developing a conceptual plan for replacement of the clubhouse. The report provides in-depth information and research required for an evaluation of the existing Fairway Village clubhouse and a proposed replacement facility. The report includes architectural, site work, engineering, and budgetary considerations. The goal was to provide sufficient information so that the Clubhouse Repair Committee and the residents of Fairway Village could make an informed decision regarding future plans. The report was developed utilizing the input from the Clubhouse Repair Committee, multiple site visits, site analysis, and the architect's substantial experience on similar projects. The architectural design team also consulted the following professionals: Hennessy Construction Services for estimating and project management and preparation of estimates, Adams Design, Civil Engineering and Structural Engineering, and Architectural Engineering, Inc., who provided the previous engineering report. The Wanamaker Jensen report, dated April 8, 2010, makes the following comments under existing building modification considerations. Modification and/or renovation of the existing building will require that the building be brought into compliance with current codes and regulations. They are listed below. And again, remember, this is complete. Additional landscape buffering and parking lot islands with trees may need to be added. Architectural Engineering, Inc.'s analysis of the existing clubhouse yielded that new lighting, new ceiling diffusers, new fire alarm system, new suspended acoustic ceiling tile, and remedial electric work at the main entrance service would be required. Since improvements will be made to the existing building, the code required that a fire sprinkler system be added, and because wood trusses are utilized for roof framing, the fire system would need to be sprinkled above the ceiling in the open space within the trusses, in addition to sprinkling all spaces below the ceiling. Note that the new fire sprinkler system will help to lower your building insurance costs. Existing HVAC, which is heating, ventilating, and air conditioning, equipment is out of date, and current outside air requirements will need to be met. It was determined that the cost to install a new folding partition, which is on the wish list, in the main hall to separate the space into 2 rooms would be cost prohibitive because of the new steel structure that would be required. Existing wood trusses are insufficient to support the weight of the new folding partition. The code requires that an asbestos survey be conducted to ascertain the presence of any asbestos-containing materials. This pre-renovation demolition asbestos survey is required by EPA regulations. The building code official contacted indicated that the renovations planned for Fairway Village are considered level 2 renovations and would not mandate a complete overhaul of the existing building structure. However, we have provided a separate estimate in the event that Fairway Village would choose to upgrade the structural system, the roof framing, the load-bearing walls, and the glazing. Future operating costs of your existing building will continue to increase, but will be less after renovations are made. Building addition. There is limited ceiling height on the raised platform at the stage in the main assembly space. To correct this, and this is what they were proposing and included in their renovation, to correct this, a 1,000 square foot building addition is proposed. The new addition would involve demolishing the existing boardroom and relocating the stage to a new space constructed with a higher roof at the location of the existing boardroom. The boardroom would then be constructed in the 1,000 square foot addition adjacent to the relocated stage and could also have a higher roof ceiling. Building renovations. Substantial mechanical and electrical modifications are required and were described in the report submitted by Architectural Engineering. Other renovations include a new roof, new interior floor and wall finishes, refurbishing of the existing terrazzo, new kitchen appliances, new ceilings, new light fixtures, replacement of toilet fixtures, and general upgrades to give the building a fresh look. The existing audio and video system room in the main hall would be relocated to a position directly opposite the stage, which has been done. Americans with Disabilities Act compliance issues. The 20% ADA rule requires that 20% of your renovation costs go toward making upgrades to the site and building and removing architectural barriers. The main areas that must be upgraded include toilet rooms and plumbing fixtures. In lieu of enlarging and reconfiguring the existing toilet rooms, it would be best to add 2 new fully accessible toilet rooms. These could be unisex, family style, and might be located near the existing toilet rooms. Doors and door hardware. Doors that are smaller than 36 inches wide will need to be replaced. Doorknobs will be changed to lever handles, and closers will need to be replaced and or adjusted to provide compliant opening and closing forces. Stage lift. A mechanical lift or a very long ramp will need to be added to the stage to provide access to the raised platform. Exterior parking and accessible route. Compliant parking spaces will be required, which may mean a slight reconfiguration of the parking layout. The route to the entrance doors will also need to be modified to eliminate excessive slopes and provide a proper floor surface. Handicap access to the swimming pool is not provided. In lieu of installing a ramp, you may consider installing a portable swing lift, which I think we've also addressed some of that. Multiple objects were observed to be protruding objects and will need to be lowered, raised, or relocated. Preliminary structural analysis. We visited the site and reviewed the historical building plans that were available. Unfortunately, all the plans were building additions and not of the original building. Based on our review, we know the following. Exterior walls. Based on the plans available, it appears that the masonry walls do not have enough reinforcement, vertical rebar dowels and grouted cells, to comply with the current Florida building code. The walls would need to be retrofitted with grouted and reinforced masonry cells. Also, uplift connectors for the truss to wall connections may need to be upgraded. Pre-engineered wood trusses. The trusses would also need to be analyzed, truss clips, member sizes, layout, etc., to see if they comply. This is a time-consuming process if the original truss shop drawings are not available, which appears to be the case. If the trusses need to be modified, which is likely, it will involve adding new gusset plates, members, bracing to the existing truss system. Also, the large gable end truss framing will most likely need to be modified or replaced. History of these gable end conditions have shown to be weak points in the building envelope. Columns. Excuse me, just for a minute. Columns. The columns used in the construction appear to be steel pipe columns designed for axial compression and uplift only. Depending on the loading conditions, the columns may need to be retrofitted with new fasteners to resist uplift forces. Foundations. The wall foundations appear to be constructed as shallow masonry stem wall strip footings. The column foundations appear to be constructed as shallow isolated concrete footings. The column footings may need to be enlarged to resist uplift to comply with current building code. Structural summary. Depending on what modifications would be made to renovate the existing building, roof, openings, dead loads due to mechanical, etc., the most significant requirement is described in the Florida Building Code for existing buildings. Below is an excerpt from that code. Please note that the 30% is based on the area of the building and not the dollar value. In the code, under substantial structural alteration, states, where more than 30% of the total sum of roof and floor areas of the building or structure have been or is proposed to be involved in structural alteration within a 12-month period, the evaluation and analysis shall demonstrate that the altered building or structure complies with the Florida Building Code for wind loading. Your existing building will most certainly not comply with current wind load standards and would need to be upgraded. The upgraded features would need to include all structural framing members, exterior skin, roofing, and windows. And there's a section here on preliminary utility analysis, which basically states that the water main is adequate, the 10-inch gravity sanitary sewer is adequate, and that stormwater, the adjacent lake serves as a stormwater management facility which collects the runoff from the development via curbs in the roadways. Hurricane preparedness. The existing building was not constructed to meet the current Florida building codes. Current codes require that the building withstand wind speeds of 123 mile an hour with impact rated glazing. And I would note, this has now been increased. The current code requires withstand wind speeds of 154 miles per hour. It is possible to upgrade the existing building to meet this existing code. However, it would be cost prohibitive to modify the existing building to the level required to make the building a shelter. Note, it was never our intent to make the building a shelter. Budget estimates. April of 2010. Your budget estimate needs to include all the costs associated with building. There are hard construction costs and soft construction costs which must be taken into consideration. We have prepared 2 preliminary budget estimates. And just for information, hard construction costs are what they imply. That's the actual construction issue of putting up the building. The soft construction costs deal with fees, printing associated costs, and other things like that, and can amount to 15% of a building's cost. The first estimate includes all necessary interior renovation work and a 1,000 square foot addition. It does not modify the existing structure. The cost estimated in April of 2010 was $2,052,644. If we update that to current, 2018 was the last we had, that $2,052,000 would update to $3,107,000. So it's almost a 50% increase from 2010 to now. The second estimate includes all necessary interior renovation, a 1,000 square foot addition, and all the required structural modifications to make the existing building compliant with current wind loads, 123 mile an hour, which is now changed to 154, and allow the building to withstand a level 3 hurricane. In 2010, that estimate was $2,405,413. And again, if we update that to 2018 August, that's $3,641,074. The third estimate is for the replacement of the clubhouse. It would be constructed to withstand current wind load requirements. However, it would not be classified as a hurricane shelter. It could be used as a refuge once a hurricane passes. And part of that decision was based upon if we designed a building and listed as a hurricane shelter, it has to be open to the public. So that was one of the reasons that we said we hesitated to do that. The cost estimate for the replacement of the clubhouse was $2 million in 2010, $2,713,693. Updated by Wanamaker Jensen to August of 2018, the cost would be $4,107,689. That I should mention, that includes $255,000 for fixed equipment and furnishings. Summary: your existing building has a very limited lifespan, and these renovations are not only necessary to maintain the quality of life of the building's occupants, but also to answer the mandates from the local building department. It is also very important to note that even with the significant upgrades described in this report, the lifespan of the existing building will be increased maybe 10 years before another round of upgrades will become necessary. The Clubhouse Repair Committee reviewed the studies and arrived at 3 options for consideration. Number 1, only repair and replace when necessary or when code requirements dictate. This option is probably the least desirable of the 3, as aesthetic deterioration will present difficult situations, maintenance of existing mechanical and electrical systems, as well as building materials with the possibility of code upgrades. Number 2, repair and upgrade of the clubhouse. The committee utilized the input from professional engineers and architects and have given considerable thought and effort to this option. This option is the least expensive. However, it may prove to become more expensive over the long term. Replacement of the clubhouse is inevitable, and it is not up to the current code and standards. Surveys and professional opinions suggest that the clubhouse be replaced now or in the very near future. We have to decide if we want to invest in a structure that has, by professional opinion, almost reached its lifespan. Keep in mind that no matter how extensive the renovations are, we will still have a clubhouse that is 40, almost 50 now, years old. The third option, replace the clubhouse with a new structure. The committee has studied this option in detail with input from the architect. The option is the most expensive, but it will probably prove to be the most economical over the long run. Recommendations from the Clubhouse Repair Committee report dated April 12, 2010 state, the Clubhouse Repair Committee has devoted a considerable period of time to this study and recommends the following options for consideration. 1, renovate the existing clubhouse, and 2, replacement of the clubhouse. And it said also, it contained, we, the Clubhouse Repair Committee, also recommend the following. Several copies of this report should be available to FVRA office for shareholders to review during office hours. Copies of the report should be made available for shareholders' review over the internet. Shareholders' comments should be submitted in writing to Vern Thompson, Board of Directors member, not later than a date established by the Board of Directors. Okay, on April 10th of 2013, Biller Reinhardt Structural Group, sorry Jim, was retained to provide structural engineering services. We requested a general, summary level opinion report of the overall construction quality of the building and select component systems and materials and methods of construction.
Wait. 911.
Oh, it's Joanne?